My dear friend Kirsten Tibbles is joining me in the kitchen to make one of her fantastic desserts. What have you got in store for us today?
Well, today it's actually a PB&J tart, and we're going to start with the pastry, which is a Breton shortbread. Now, if you can mix the unsalted butter, and we've got 2 sugars, we've got a brown sugar and a caster sugar.
Why do you use 2 sugars for this recipe?
So I add a little bit of caramelisation, which is the molasses in the brown sugar, so it adds a really nice flavour to the pastry.
Okay.
We're going to mix those together until we've got no lumps of butter and it's nice and smooth.
Okay.
If you take your butter straight from the fridge, it's going to be easy to roll it out straight away. Okay. If your butter's at room temperature, it may need to go in the fridge once you finish your pastry for about an hour.
Okay.
That looks great. Now we can add in the egg yolks.
Okay.
And we can follow that with the flour and the baking powder.
So just some regular plain flour.
Just regular plain flour. Baking flour would actually make this shrink a little bit.
Okay. And some baking powder.
Some baking powder, which is going to give us a really nice rise. And the beauty of making a Breton shortbread is that the sides stay up and the middle drops a little bit. So it almost gives us like edges of a tart.
And that's what we want for this, right?
Exactly what we want. Don't over-mix it at this stage, just mix it till it comes together. Or Justine, don't forget, just a pinch of salt.
How could I forget that? Kirst, that has just come together.
Fantastic. You don't want to over-mix it because then when you roll your pastry out and you bake it, it will tend to shrink a little bit. I'm going to dust some plain flour on the bench.
Okay.
Because this is flat and we're not actually going to line the sides of a tart ring, I'm just going to roll it out while it's fresh.
Yeah, as opposed to putting it into the fridge and chilling it.
Yes.
I love the idea of this. Just get the job done. It's quite a soft, delicate pastry, isn't it?
It is. It's very, very soft, very, very light. And wait till it's baked. Oh, so good. So this particular pastry is going to fit exactly into the tin that I've got here.
Okay. And that's what, about 20 centimetres?
Exactly.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this onto a lined tray. I'm going to roll it a little bit more and then I'm going to show you a little trick. I always use rings rather than cake tins.
I've noticed that. So much more perfect when you do this.
I think it's more versatile because if I want to put a base on that to bake a cake, I just line it with baking paper. But it's really great for making tarts because it has no base on it. So this one I'm just going to now use the ring to bring it in.
Just almost teasing and manipulating it so it just fits quite snug-like.
Exactly. What do you think of that?
That is pretty good. And we're going to pop that in the oven. What temperature and how long are we going to bake it for?
We're going to bake that at 170 degrees Celsius for approximately 10 to 15 minutes or until it's a light golden brown.
Like your style.
Justine, if you can put the peanut butter into the bowl, crunchy peanut butter is my preference for this recipe.
Always.
Now we've taken the Breton shortbread out of the oven. When it's hot, just run a knife between the ring and the tart itself to ensure it doesn't stick to the sides, but don't grease it beforehand. Now in here I have sugar, water and a little bit of vanilla and just boil it until the sugar's dissolved. Pour that over the crunchy peanut butter and we're going to mix that till it all comes together.
Okay, so this is the filling for our Breton pastry, correct?
It is. Okay. It's a really good base and a great flavour. Now I'm going to take the ring off so you can have a look at the pastry.
And that's exactly what you were talking about before, how it naturally rises around the edges.
And we get that beautiful little dip in the centre. Now we're going to add in the butter.
Okay.
And that should have enough heat in it to melt the butter.
I like the idea of peanut butter, raspberries together, but what did you announce this recipe as?
I know what you're going to say, PB&J. There is no jelly and there's no jam, I apologise, but it's got raspberry, so I thought the J could sort of be for the raspberry. What do you think?
I'll let you get away with that. Okay. So the butter is now melted.
Justine, can you add in the raspberries?
Sure can. So these are frozen raspberries.
Frozen raspberries. You can use fresh as well.
And there
That's it. And can I steal your whisk?
you go. You sure can.
When they're frozen, you can just break them up a little bit. Obviously, when they're fresh, they will just naturally break up as you whisk them through.
We're just trying to cut one step out here, really, because it instantly chills it. I like it.
And Justine, can you pass the cream? And I'm going to change from a whisk to a spatula.
Okay. Looks so yummy. I just want to taste that now.
Now I'm just going to put in a little bit of cream to start.
Sure.
Now this isn't the prettiest cream, but you are really going to thank me when you taste it.
Oh, I will. I think right now it's ugly delicious.
Just adding in the rest of the cream, and then we're going to place this in the fridge.
Okay. Okay, Kirst, all our elements are ready to go. Cream is chilled nicely.
Now I'm doing a piping bag. I know. You can just spread the cream on and swirl it around. It'll look just as nice, I'm sure, but I am going to pipe it.
It looks better when you pipe it.
Now I'm using a piping bag with an 18mm piping nozzle. Fold the top of your bag down, and then we scoop the cream up and put it into the bag.
It's kind of like a little surprise because just looking at that, you wouldn't think that there would be that crunchy peanut butter. But I'm sure when you bite into it, it's like, ooh, raspberries, delicious cream, peanut butter. It's like a triple whammy.
The surprise element.
Exactly.
No licking the bowl here, Justine.
Just a little taste. That's pretty good.
Now I'm going to pipe in a shell pattern. So around the edge, you pipe up and down. As I said, it's not the prettiest thing, but you're going to love it when you try it.
I don't know about that. That looks quite pretty. I like those little teardrop effects. Very nice. And teamwork, I'm going to turn that for you.
Thank you.
I kind of like that different textured raspberry in there. Some of it's completely mixed in, some whole raspberries.
It's going to taste beautiful when you get those big chunks of raspberry combined with the crunchy peanut butter.
Oh, yes.
Just a few more dollops of cream on top in the centre. Fresh raspberries now. So we're going to place those on top. And these we can really just sort of scatter. So just place them mainly on top, but also a little bit on the edges and the side. And then we're going to finish it and top it with the roughly chopped salted peanuts to give us a salty texture on top. Do you want to just sprinkle those on top?
I would love to. Pièce de résistance.
And to finish, a little dusting of icing sugar.
Kirst, as usual, so impressive. This is just one example of the many different desserts that you can learn how to make at Savour Chocolate School. I know I've learnt so much off you and I keep learning every single time. I just can't wait to dig into that one.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And I think this is really quite a simple one, but so delicious.
You nailed it on the head.